All right, hey everyone, welcome to today's session. Hey, what I want to start off with today is talking about content and kind of the framework that we want to have. And when I talk about content, it's it's gonna be in the frame of both the content that we use in organic, meaning the stuff that we post and is kind of like the quote unquote free stuff, as well as the ads. Because here's the truth. In 2026, it's very, very important that we have content out there. It is less important how we deliver it. It's important to make sure that the people who are gonna be consuming your content, your target market will be able to do it. So if your target market's not on LinkedIn, then if you post all your stuff on LinkedIn, maybe that's not a great idea. But in terms of the storytelling that we do, and in terms of whether it's paid or organic, it doesn't matter. I'll give you an example. I personally love to post on my personal Facebook and Instagram organically when I feel inspired, when the Holy Spirit moves me, right? When I write my best content in the moment. But if I have to write something and I'm not very inspired, I don't do a good job with it. So when someone's like, "Oh, no problem. All you have to do is batch your content. All you have to do is, schedule it in advance. All you have to do is, be disciplined to do it." That's not really my thing. Some people love doing that every day, which is awesome. And some people, it doesn't work. But the most important thing is to get it out there. So what could we do? We could use paid traffic. And you can do the same thing with ads to spend $1 a day to get your content out there, to boost it out. And that works too. So I don't want to talk about the mechanics of whether it's paid or organic right now. But what I do want to do is talk about the different content types and then also how that's going to differ a little bit from the invitation stuff that we do. So before we do that, I want to draw a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right. So I want to start by kind of demonstrating what we have here in our model. Now, a lot of times, in fact, let me do this. Sometimes we think about the funnel, right? We think about a funnel and they're like, oh yeah, all your leads go in here, and then we got the top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, top of funnel, top, middle, bottom. And that's actually really good when we're talking about like a campaign, meaning we're inviting people to like find out about something specific and buy something right away. And it's like, hey, if we put people in here at the top, and then they're going to go linearly down and they're going to buy something down here. And that's pretty good when we're talking about buying something, but I found it's actually not very good when we're talking about the big picture of marketing. So instead of looking at the funnel sideways like this, I actually like to turn it. Imagine, um, I have a glass here, but oh, here. I wasn't planning to use props, but imagine if this were like a funnel, if it were bigger at the top, instead of looking at it from the side, look at it from the top. Okay, that's what I'm going to draw. So if you just imagine the outside here, and then the target's get in the middle and the inside here, just like you'd get at the bottom. Okay, so next time I'll have a real funnel that we use. But just imagine when I'm drawing this thing, that instead of like this, we've got this circle. So here's the top. This is the outside, and then in the middle is where we want them to go to buy. Right? All right. So there's a couple things that we need to do. First of all, outside, they don't know about us. If they're not in our funnel, they're strangers. And to get them into our world, if you just imagine the boundaries of the circle is like our world, we need to have some sort of content that gets them to do two things. Okay. Number one, they need to they need to associate you with a certain problem, right? So they number one, they know you exist, but they associate you with a problem or a solution or something. Okay. So for example, Steph's here on the call. Someone may know Steph. and she's an awesome human being, and that's great. But if we don't know that Steph works with women who are in menopause with their health, then we can't do business with her. So not only do we need to know that she exists, which is the first, if they don't know you exist, which by the way, that's being invisible. But being visible on its own is not enough. So one, they need to know that you exist, and number two, they need to be like, okay, well, not only does is Steph like this awesome person, but I'm associating her with the work that she does. Okay, so let me go back to here, so that they're aware you exist and they associate you. So that's just basic content, and this might be like your quizzes and stuff like that. It could be some problem solution content in there as well. That gets them into your world. Now, once they're in the world, if we were just looking at a normal funnel, we would say, oh, well, all we need to do is we need to show them certain stuff here at the top. And then once they've done a couple things, they move down to the middle and we show them a little bit different. This is like how Facebook ads used to work. Well, we have top of funnel ads, and then we have middle of funnel ads, and then we have bottom funnel ads, and then we just have to show them, and then all these people are going to buy here. Unfortunately, that doesn't reflect reality. Because what I've noticed, and if you think about your own buying behavior, sometimes once you're in someone's world, it kind of goes like this. I'll do it here in blue. Like you know who they are, and maybe you're like got something's going on in your life and you get closer to buying, right? And you're going over here, but then like life happens and you kind of forget about it. Or you like had a big problem and you're like, oh my God, I need to buy this thing. And then later on you were like, well, actually it turned out it wasn't that big of a problem, so I'm still out here. Sometimes you've actually worked with, not worked with someone, but you've actually been on someone's list and then you like got on their list and you were here and then you went out here. You forgot who they were. Have you ever like looked at your email box and seen an email from someone and you're like, who the F is this? And then you read the email like, oh, it's that guy. Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. That happens too. So what I've noticed has happened or is real is we're kind of bouncing around here. We're kind of bouncing around here. I think of it more as like an orbit. Okay? We get closer. I'm going to have to delete all this stuff manually. We get closer and farther away from buying. And that's just natural. So, what we need to do is a couple things. To get people a little bit closer in orbit, we use our content. Okay? To make sure that they know who you are. And that's going to come in three different kind of flavors. Number one is going to be authority content. They have to not just associate you with a problem. Steph is a menopause coach, but they need to see you and believe you as you are the person to work with. Steph is the right person to work with because she explained how when you used to be able to work out and eat healthy and lose weight, no problem. And for some reason now it's not working, and it has to do with this thing with your hormones, and you need to, take this kind of supplement. And then, like, oh my God, she knows what she's talking about. So the first is authority content. They need to believe you that you not only do you do this, but you're the person to work with. The second kind of content we have is alignment content. Alignment content means not only can you get the result, but will people be wanting to follow the path that you have? I'll give you an example. So a few years ago, I lived in a house and I had these cats, and the cats would go outside in the yard and like play around, and we'd bring them back in. And a dude came and he knocked on the door and he's like, hey, we do flea and tick treatments for your yard. And I'm like, great. And he's like talking about how great it is and how they have a guarantee. And I asked an important question. I said, is your method non-toxic to pets? Is it organic? He's like, well, no, it's not because the truth is that stuff doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. Ours does work and it kills all the bugs. And I said, well, I can appreciate that you kill all the bugs. I also don't want you to kill my cats. So I was not aligned. I believe that they were a good authority, that they could do what they could get the result, but I was not aligned with their method. Think about it. Are there other people in your industry that do things a certain way that are different? My friend Billy Joe Arthur is a weight loss coach. And right now there's all these things out there about like different ways to lose weight. He has a certain way of losing weight that is in contrast to the ketogenic diet, for example, or it might be, certain taking certain supplements. He has a method and people would be aligned with that. Okay? So that's the second one. And then the third one, and I think this is actually really, really important, particularly in our industry and coaching, which is going to be affinity. Affinity is can I speak English? Affinity is do they like you or not? Look, I know that people like, even Tony Robbins says this. He says, you don't have to like someone to be able to learn from someone. And that's absolutely true. But doesn't it help a whole lot if you're thinking about hiring someone as a coach, if you actually like them and enjoy spending time with them so that you're not sitting with them in a room or on Zoom and you totally hate them? Like if someone's a total asshole, it's a lot like harder to learn from them than someone who's nice. And some of your audience, some of your clients will have a higher propensity to hire someone that they like versus someone they don't like. Think about what's that old saying? People work with people who they know, like, and trust. So that second one's important there. Now, everyone's market's a little bit different, and every individual's a little bit different. And so this is why you're each going to have your own mixture of these. And that's up to you to figure out, and we can help you figure that out. But you're going to have authority, you're going to have alignment, and you're going to have affinity. And when you have these three pieces of content, the right people will start to gravitate in. Okay? Whether it's paid, whether it's organic, no matter what, they're going to move in. Now, we're not going to focus on this right now today, but I want to also talk about what we call a campaign. Because now our content is bringing them in. In fact, this is what I want marketing to do for us coaches. Marketing for a coach should pre-sell. Someone, there's going to be someone who is watching this replay or is on this call who loves to sell. They love it. They love getting on a sales call. They love the challenge of it. They love to sell. And God bless you if you do. And this will still work if you love to sell, but most coaches I know don't love to sell. They don't love to overcome objections. When we do this, we pre-sell them. Because what we're doing is we're teaching them what we do. We show them the results. We do all of the sales call things, not on the call, but before they even talk to us. And if you think about it, this is not just in coaching, but don't most things we buy, we're usually pre-sold on it? Like you go on Amazon to buy a certain product. Why? Because you've heard about it, or you read the reviews, or you saw it demonstrated. You go to Costco and I don't know if you guys ever do the Costco walk, where you're like walking through and there's a guy like with a free sample. You take the sample and you taste the Kung Pao chicken or whatever, and you're pre-sold. You like it or you don't like it. And you're like, oh yeah, I like this. He doesn't have to, well, Alex, if you buy three of these, you get one free. But what would your wife say if, you go home and you don't come home with a bag of things? I mean, they don't do that stuff. It pre-sells. But we also still have to do some quote unquote selling. I don't really call it selling. I'll call it an invitation. Okay. And so after, let's look back here at our screen. While we've done all this stuff, they've got the authority content, they've watched your content, they've seen your stuff, they've done the alignment, they've done the affinity. Then we're going to use, I'm going to put it here in orange, these things to bring them in. And these are called campaigns. Campaigns are the more direct kind of invitations. I'll put invitation. And this is when we invite them to work with us. Now, there might, just so you know, we might have a little thing on our Instagram reel that says, "Hey, if you're interested in working together, DM me, work, and we'll talk about it." And that's normal. We can always have a little bit of a we can only have a little bit of a invitation to do it. But then sometimes we're like direct invitation. And typically there are three types of things we're going to invite people to in our campaigns. Okay. And so this is not necessarily content. This is a campaign topic. And it's clear now. All right. So they're pre-sold. They're like, they want to buy. They're interested in this. The people who come to these, there's going to be three invitations. Number one is going to be a lead magnet. That's very, very simple. Oftentimes we use the lead magnet up here to get people into our world, from this purple one down. But we can also give them a lead magnet, or you might have like an AI tool. It could be a PDF. It could be some sort of diagnostic. They've quiz funnels, things like that. Okay, that's the first invitation. Hey, come do a little bit of engagement. The second thing is going to simply be an invitation to work together. And you can do this. You can do this one truthfully anytime you want. Hey, I'm taking on new clients. Would you like to work together? Hey, I've got an 8-week program starting up. Would you like to work together? If you've been thinking about it, you'd like to work together. And then the third one could be like a workshop. This is where we invite them to a thing. It could be free, it could be paid. But this is where we are inviting them to come take that sample of the Kung Pao chicken, to come experience your coaching. Let me give some examples. Uh, let's just keep with the Costco example. This one is like we give them a brochure about our Kung Pao chicken. This one is we ask them, do you want to buy the Kung Pao chicken? And this one, do you want a sample of the Kung Pao chicken? Hey, they all work. Sometimes people don't need a sample. They already had the Kung Pao chicken. Oh yeah, I want to buy that. I'm looking for Kung Pao chicken. I need that. So they all work in different ways, and we'll utilize all three of them in different times. And this is like, well, how do you do this? It can be your email campaign. It could be just something on Facebook saying, "Hey, I'm starting up a new um, I'm starting up a new cohort in July. Would you like to, anyone's interested wants to join?" And a lot of times, because we don't know typically where exactly an individual is in this orbit. Let's pick red. They might be here. They might be here. They might be right there. This guy, all you need to do is invite them. Hey, I'm starting a thing. And you're like, yes, sign me up. Some people need a little bit more invitation. So maybe someone out here needs to be invited to a workshop, and that brings them in to buy. So the main thing, if we think about this, and in a moment we'll go to questions and open Q&A. If we think about what are different ways we can make sure we have authority content. Oops. This is show your knowledge and expertise. You might teach a little bit. Alignment, share your method. And affinity, I'll tell you the easiest thing with affinity. We typically are on this thing called social media. It's by being social. It's by actually showing your life. Like Hey, for example, I was in Rome last week, just showing that I was in Rome and doing stuff. Not everything we do has to be business. Like sometimes you just show other stuff. Like you're a real human being because people and the funniest story I tell a lot about this is I have this thing about fried chicken, right? I really like fried chicken, so I'll go to different whenever I travel, I want to go try their fried chicken. And one time I made this post about being in Chicago and trying their fried chicken, and someone messaged me and said, "Hey, if you're ever in Wisconsin, I'm gonna take you to this place to have this fried chicken, blah blah blah. By the way, I've been meaning to reach out to you because I want to work with you." My fried chicken had nothing to do with, it wasn't, "Hey, if you want to have fried chicken and work with me, message me." No, it was, I was having fried chicken and we connected as humans. And the guy reached out and said, "Hey, I've been meaning to reach out." So we had the fried chicken connection already as humans, and he wanted it. It created the opening for him to reach out to me. So we'll dive more into the specifics of this, but what I'm gonna do is we'll move into Q&A.